One other person I want to talk about, you mentioned Jim Beedle a couple of moments ago. Tell me about Jim and the significance he had in your life and kind of how he still influences you in your recovery today.
Yeah, so Jim passed a few months ago. He had a double lung transplant, and he outlived that expectancy and then some. Jim Beedle was somebody that, I came out of the treatment and I went into the rooms and I went in there with the sticky note solution, which is find a sponsor, pick a home group, work steps, right? Go to meetings. So I remember my first few meetings, I was listening to people, and he happened to be at a meeting in Kent, my second meeting in, and just the gratitude that he had. He was rough around the edges. I was thinking, I'm going to have to tell whoever this mentor is going to be some secrets about me. I'm going to have to be honest with him. So I kind of was looking for a specific type of person, but I needed somebody who gave a shit. And he gave a shit. What it turned out to be for me was so much more than I expected, because typically a sponsor is just a person who helps take you through the step process. There's a lot of expectations as to what a sponsor is, but that's essentially what it is. But for me, I was looking for a father figure my whole life. I was chasing a dad. And Beedle became that. He's probably only 10 years older than me. But he'd been through so much. And he cared so much about me. I never had a man really, truly care about me. Not say I care about you, but demonstrate it through his actions. He demonstrated that shit. And for a kid like me, a guy like me, that loyalty is going to run deep for somebody who cares about me. And he did. And he cared enough to be honest with me. He cared enough to be honest with me about me, how he experienced me and my arrogance. And because he cared so much, I was willing to accept it. And it made all the difference. Because my arrogance wasn't really truly arrogance. I didn't think I was better than anybody. I felt less than. And I thought the solution was to feel better than. It just made sense that way, that I would be better. I would feel better if I could just not feel less than. And it turns out humility is feeling the same as, being able to identify with people and find a connection at an equal level rather than a lower or higher level. And that came out through the step work and the efforts that we put in. And that's something that he and I identified with pretty closely, and it solved a lot of problems for us. And it helps me today to solve a lot of problems, because I either have a tendency to feel less than or feel better than. But I can solve that problem by feeling same as.
Yeah.
It's a big life lesson for me, and it helps me a lot.
Yeah. He's, from the way you talk about him, I never met him, but he seems like someone that lived his life in such a way that I would want to emulate that, so how has the way Jim Beedle lived his life affected the way that you live your life now?
So Beedle told me early on, all I got to do is bring the want to, right? I got to be willing. I don't have to know anything. I don't have to do much. I just got to be willing, right? Beedle was more willing to help people than I'll ever be.
Yeah.
There's something about it for him that he just would help no matter what. He was so selfless. He gave to his family the same way he gave to anybody that needed his help. People that didn't need his help, he was trying to help. I would find myself not being the same selflessness to his degree. But I had different skill sets, and I had to learn to utilize those. So I think that's kind of what helped me go into, staying in recovery was being willing to help. He used to say to me, Somebody would ask me to sponsor him. I had like 90 days clean. I'm calling him going, I can't sponsor anybody. I don't know anything. He's like, are you a step ahead of him? I'm like, yeah. He goes, then who the hell are you to not help a suffering addict? And I'm like, yeah, but there's so many people that are better that know more, that can be more helpful. He goes, but they asked you. What am I going to say? The man was always there. He always told me how he felt about me, all the way up to the last conversation, and he demonstrated it. And that means a lot. But he lived his life by being, the dude was all over the place, man. He was a hyperspaz.
Yeah.
But you knew who he was. He was honest, and he shared his experience. What are you going to do? I mean, he's authentic. Authenticity, man. That dude, you knew who he was, and you knew what he stood for, and you knew what you were going to get with him. And if he could help, he would. And that's what I loved about him.